All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Taylor, and I have my co-host here, Colleen.
Morning, everybody.
Good morning. If you have not been on a Mixin' It Up before with MiRealSource, we do these every Thursday at 11 or 10 o'clock, and we just actually bumped it up from 10 to 10:45, and now it's going to be 10:45 to 11, just because there's so much engagement and we don't want to run over, so we are actually going to make these 60 minutes versus 45 minutes. And these Mixin' It Ups, we give away prizes. We also have guest speakers or topics that are based on what's relevant this week or what our members have been submitting as feedback. So our guest this week is Brian Smith from Masterlock, and he is going to be going through some of the Masterlock benefits, the integration with ShowingTime. Colleen's going to be talking about the showing carts a little bit, and all the kind of the bells and whistles that come with Masterlock. So Brian, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, my pleasure.
I just want to double check and make sure everybody can hear us all right and see. You should see three of us, Colleen, myself, and Brian. If you could use the questions/chat box off in the GoToWebinar panel, let us know that you can hear us and see us. That would be great.
Yeah, nothing worse than going 5 minutes and finding out nobody can hear you or see you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. And if you do have audio issues, there's a little microphone that could be turned off, or you might have to go into your audio settings and just set those up. But make sure that you don't have them hooked up to like a Bluetooth or something like that. Kimberly says she can hear us. David said there's no audio. Yeah, double check your audio settings, David. You can see and hear all of us. Okay, great. That means we're doing something right. So I am going to do a little introduction of myself if you have never met me before or been on Mixin' Up. Like I said, my name is Taylor Fedewa. I do our communications here at MiRealSource, as well as teach our photo program, which we actually have a photography class next Tuesday. So if you are interested in taking a photography webinar, I will be teaching that next Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. So go ahead and register for that. I've been with MiRealSource for 6 years now, a little over 6 years. And then my co-host is Colleen Delange. You want to give a little intro about yourself?
Absolutely. Let's see. I've been as a member of MiRealSource for over 20 years now. I hate to say that, it makes me feel old. I've been a licensed realtor for 22, and I'm excited to host the Mixin' It Up with you every week. I learn so much as an agent each week myself, so it's kind of fun.
And David, we did respond about your audio. We can type it out in just a second, the directions. I know he can't hear me, so
I'm sending him a quick chat right now.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes the audio is delayed for some people, and then it kicks on, but never know. So today we're going to be giving away actually 4 prizes. Normally we do 2 prizes, but the first prize, I'm just going to kind of kick it off before we hand this off to Brian to demo for you guys. Let me share my screen real quick. My messy screen, don't mind it. You should be seeing the overview of Masterlock and ShowingTime. So one of our prizes, actually all 4 of our prizes, are going to be a Masterlock will be given away to you, and this is of $139 value. So we are plus tax. Got to make sure I throw that in there. But you, anybody who wins today of the 4 prizes will be receiving one of the Masterlocks. And the first trivia or challenge or whatever you want to call it is going to be the first YouTube subscriber to MiRealSource's media page. So at MiRealSource YouTube page, we are going to be putting lots of new content on there as well, but we have little tips and tricks videos, couple minutes long, promo videos. All of our webinar classes are on there. we launched a podcast. The podcast snippets are going to be on there, as well as some original content to our YouTube channel. So if you visit youtube.com/MyRealSourceMedia, the first person that I get a notification for as a new subscriber will get one of these lock boxes. So I am ready. I will be monitoring that and writing your names down. So the first person, that's going to be the first. We have 4. And now I am going to hand that off to Brian to take over.
Thank you.
Yep.
Brian, tell us a little bit about who you are and how long you've been with Masterlock. And I know I've known you for quite a while now, so tell us a little bit about you and how you're supposed to really be in the Bahamas right now and joining us anyway. So thank you for that, by the way.
My pleasure. In the sake of transparency, I did not cancel my Bahamas trip just to be here, but since I'm not in the Bahamas, I'm glad to be with you folks. My name is Brian Smith. I've been with Masterlock for about 4 years, really just focused on our electronics products, including our electronics lock boxes. I'm with our business development group, which I think is the best job at Masterlock because I get to go out and interface with folks like you guys. That's the best part of the job for me, is getting out there and getting to meet folks and figure out what your problems are and offer you some solutions. We know that in the real estate world, lock boxes are not what you think about every day when you get up, and your goal isn't to go interface with a bunch of lock boxes throughout the day, but unfortunately you have to. So we want to make that as easy for you as possible. I'm going to attempt to share a screen here.
There you go. It looks good.
Okay, so you should see kind of a title screen there.
We see it.
So we've learned over the years working with realtors. You all are probably familiar with our mechanical lock boxes for the last 3 or 4 decades. But as we got into the electronic lock boxes a few years ago, what we learned is that the incumbents out there are expensive. You guys are spending a lot of money to and have some long-term contracts to have lock boxes, which are really just a tool for you to show properties and do what your normal business is. The obligation could be 6 to 8 years. You're tied in for a long time. Sometimes it's difficult if someone's coming from an outside association or aren't a realtor, an appraiser or a contractor. And really, if it doesn't work perfectly, there's a lot at stake. If you can't get in and you're in front of your clients, you're trying to show a property, and the lockbox is what's keeping you out, it's an issue. So with all of those things in mind, we went to work and developed our whole electronics lock program. A little bit of background. Most folks have heard of Masterlock. We were founded in 1921. Our 100th birthday is coming up year after next. We're world headquarters. Our world headquarters are in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We are an American company. We have about 2,000 employees worldwide. We have manufacturing plants in Milwaukee, in Nogales, Arizona, in Louisville, Kentucky, Nogales, Mexico. We're a global company. We're in Canada, France, UK, Germany, Japan. What most folks know us for, that iconic shot lock, the Super Bowl commercial, where they used a rifle to shoot through a master lock and the lock held. What a lot of people didn't realize, myself included, was that Masterlock is an electronics company as well. So in 2012, we started our electronics journey. We currently protect about 16,000 locations for a national cellular provider using our electronics. That led to the birth of our padlocks, our Bluetooth padlocks, which you may or may not be familiar with, but using the same app as our lock boxes, you can control things with a padlock. In real estate, a shed, if you have access to a shed, something like that. Again, we're a global company, but I think one of the important differences as well is that we do just about everything in-house. Our electronics engineers, our software engineers, our mechanical engineers, they're all Masterlock employees. So we're not worried about third-party sources. If something goes right, you know who to congratulate. If something goes wrong, you know where to go to get it fixed. It's all Masterlock. The lockbox itself, I won't read the slide to you, but some of the things that are interesting or we've learned are interesting to real estate professionals are, especially in Michigan, it gets cold. These are good to -40 degrees. That could have been another trivia question. -40 is actually the point where Celsius and Fahrenheit cross over and are the same. So it doesn't matter which you're looking at, it's good to -40. Hopefully, if it's -40 out, you're not out working anyhow. Another issue is the battery. It's a non-proprietary battery. You can buy it anywhere. It's basically a camera battery. You can run out to CVS or Walgreens and get one, change it yourself. You don't need to send it in to get changed. There's no strange tools or proprietary batteries. On the bottom of the unit, human nature being what it is, this box will let you know 100 different ways that the battery is running low. But however, if the battery does die, you can take a plain old 9-volt battery, hold it to the bottom of the box, and give it enough energy to put your code in or use your app and open it and change the battery yourself. Yeah, it comes in 2 different models. There's a permanent wall-mounted version. The one most common in your world is the what we call portable. It has the removable shackle. If you were to have one in your hand, you'd feel the sides and back are kind of a rubberized coating. That's to protect the finish of the door of your client, so that you're not scratching up doors or messing up their nice door in their house. Some of our while we're very flexible in how we sell the box, we feel like a real key value in the real estate world is your pricing is clear and upfront. You buy what you need and you pay for it once, and we don't have long-term contracts. The box itself is nice. It works very well, but really the big power here is when it's partnered with ShowingTime. We're proud to say we're fully integrated with ShowingTime, and really what that means to you is one app, one tap. You're in that ShowingTime app doing your business anyhow. You can access as a listing agent. You can set up the listing and set up the access through the ShowingTime app. As the showing agent, same thing. You gain access using the same ShowingTime app that you're already using. There's really no change to your routine. You have the peace of mind of security. If your appointment is canceled or changed, the access is canceled as well. And reporting all of the lockbox activity is reported through your ShowingTime listing activity report. So you don't have to bounce between several different reports, several different apps.
That's really nice. And our members are so familiar with ShowingTime, so everything being in one place is definitely beneficial.
We around the office say one app, one tap, which we love.
Yep. And speaking of, I'm going to show a video here in a second, a quick video that ShowingTime had put together, but that's the theme of their video as well. So just a quick kind of how it works, flow chart. As the listing agent, really the app doesn't care what association you belong to or where you're coming from. If you're a valid ShowingTime user, you're verified by the MLS data, and the listing agent approves the appointment date and time, you're going to get in. And conversely, if some of that changes, the access is denied. Once the showing agent arrives at their showing during the window approved by the listing agent, they simply open the app, tap on the lockbox section, and in they go. We'll actually show that in action here. I apologize, this is Barron's presentation. Here's the ShowingTime video. Sound okay?
I don't think we hear it.
Still not hearing it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know the output can kind of be a little funky on the GoToWebinar because Colleen was trying to play a video once too, and I think it was a little sketchy.
It's been hit or miss when we try these. Instead of trying to struggle through it, if you can't hear it, then Colleen, if we could just send a link to the video after the webinar, I think it's valuable. You can see exactly what's going on in the app and exactly what's going on at the lockbox. So it gives a really good idea of how the ShowingTime integration works. Doesn't make much sense to try to play it without the sound, but if we send the link out after the webinar, folks can go at their leisure, take a look at it.
Sure, I can do that. Are you using an external mic by any chance, or an external camera or mic?
I'm not. Everything's embedded.
Okay. But yeah, we can absolutely send that out so everybody can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, what you would have seen in that video, as the listing agent, basically you set up the account with Masterlock Vault Enterprise once. You scan a QR code that comes with the lockbox, and it generates what we call a sharing code that you add to ShowingTime, and then your lockbox is in your inventory in ShowingTime, so you can add it to a listing as you need it. As the showing agent, you go ahead and in ShowingTime, schedule a showing like you normally would. When you get to the appointment, you go in within the ShowingTime app, you would go to the lockbox section. It would say Masterlock Bluetooth Lockbox. You tap on that. There's a giant button that shows up on your app that says wake up the lockbox by pressing any button. You do that and then tap the button on your app and it unlocks. You take the keys and go do your showing. Again, to reiterate, one app, one tap. You don't have to bounce between apps. You don't need to open something else. It's the ShowingTime app you're already going to be in. And again, I do recommend once we send the link out, you watch that video. It shows exactly what you would have to do to get into a listing. And really, that's all I had. We understand your time's valuable. We appreciate the time you gave us today to talk to you. Our goal is to, again, try to make this lockbox kind of fade into the background for you. We want to make the process as simple as possible. You shouldn't have to worry about a lockbox when you're in front of your clients. We want to make it easy for you to acquire the lockboxes. MiRealSource has a negotiated master agreement with us, and you're able to take advantage of that and purchase these lockboxes for a very good price. And actually, in order to promote the lockbox and get it out there and let you try it, we feel like if you get it in your hands and try it, you'll fall in love with it and wonder why you've used anything else. We are running a promotional offer to attendees of this webinar, and we'd probably extend that to other folks if they hear about it or watch the recording. But we're doing a buy three, get one free offer. Your regular, and Colleen, feel free to correct me if I'm mistaken, but I believe your MiRealSource price is $139 plus tax.
That's correct. That's correct.
So you're getting an opportunity to save $139 plus tax on one lockbox if you buy three. It includes the ShowingTime connection fee, so these boxes are ready to go with ShowingTime. What it does not include is the ShowingTime service, but obviously that's something you're going to have already. That's all I had. If there's any questions or.
No, actually, why don't we do this? I was going to try to play the video to see if I could do it. What actual slide is the video on? Would I have that in the PowerPoint, Brian?
Yeah.
If you give me the slide number, I might be able to play it right through mine.
Let me look here real quick. It's slide 14.
Let me see. I'm just going to give us a try since it's live. What the heck? We'll give it a go.
So watch the video, and then there's a couple questions coming in that we can kind of talk about, and also kind of bring this to the relevancy right now with everybody, being extra safe with the COVID virus going on. So, yep. So we had those questions. We'll make sure to address those here in just a moment.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I got the actual video part of it. Sorry. Nope, I guess I won't be able to do that. I thought maybe I could play the video from here, but I did not get the video link. I just got the slide itself. So, but that is okay.
One of the questions was, if you have multiple lock boxes, do you have to set up each one? And what would that process be like?
Yep. So the short answer is yes. You'd have to set them up once. And let's, regardless of whether you have them in bulk or you get them as you need them, the box comes with a QR code so that you open the Vault Enterprise app, the Masterlock app, just the first time when you're adding the box to your account. You actually use the camera on your phone to scan that QR device, and it adds it to your account and generates that what we call sharing code. Then you go into ShowingTime and add that sharing code, and then your box is good to go.
And we do a lot of that for our members too. We actually set them up under you so that you don't have that setup work. We actually assign them to you and or your team. So literally all they have to do is look at that sharing code and add it to ShowingTime. And I have to tell you, I really like what ShowingTime has done too. I have one hanging on one of my listings. When that listing closes and I then want to add it to another listing in ShowingTime, when I enter that sharing code or device ID number, it actually tells me in ShowingTime, would you like to remove it from 123 Main Street and now add it to 456 West Street? So I really only have to enter it in ShowingTime one time, and it sort of has that memory function. So when I take it off of one, it automatically is ready to apply to another. So I love that. That was really great programming.
So basically, when they get the lock boxes through MiRealSource's tech department sets it up for them, and all they have to do is go in and plug in that code to ShowingTime, right?
That's correct. That's correct. And actually, and if you just need the, once you pick it up from us, we'll actually give you a real quick tutorial with one of our techs, how to open the shackle, how to put it on. We'll actually walk you through just, the basics of it. So we'll give you a mini crash course, if you will. But it's so simple. And the nice thing is, again, it only works with a confirmed appointment. And I think it's so important. I did not understand that there are other lock boxes out there that everyone thinks, oh, I still have to have a confirmed appointment. And they do not work that way. Many other lockbox companies, basically you get the app, and yes, it's tracking who goes into the listing, but it's not preventing them if they don't have a confirmed appointment. And that's the thing I love about Masterlock, is you don't have a seller in the shower getting surprised, because it only works with that confirmed appointment. And I love that.
In that window of time, right?
Correct.
Is it an
and
easy window of time to fix if for some reason somebody texts you and says that they're running a half hour behind?
Great question. Yeah, it gives you that 15-minute window. So if they're running 15 minutes early or 15 minutes late, it does give them that flexibility there. But the nice thing about the ShowingTime app is they actually have where if you're running late, you can actually click, I'm running 15 minutes late. Now that adjusts your appointment window. So, remember that it's working through the ShowingTime app, and that's the beauty. If you cancel, as Brian pointed out, that appointment time is canceled, so that access is now canceled. So if you're running late, same thing. If you reschedule your appointment, it works that same way. So it's working with the ShowingTime app. And if you've never used it, and I've got mine when I went down the street and grabbed this morning off of a listing, if you've never used them before, they are so very simple, because literally I'm walking up as the showing agent. I have my ShowingTime appointment on my app from ShowingTime. I'm literally clicking the lock button and it's opening up. So yes, I'm clicking the button to turn on the box. I'm clicking the lock in my ShowingTime app, and the box is going to pop open. So it can't be much simpler than that. You don't have to worry about different apps and different codes, and it really does make it much simpler.
That was one of the questions, was about running late. Let me just read it out loud to double check to make sure it was answered. If you're showing multiple homes and running late and you're out of your showing time, is your access denied? So out of your showing time. So if you are out of that window, your access is denied, right? For security reasons.
If you're outside of that 15-minute leeway, yes. So if you, if you're, running 4 hours late, I certainly don't want you coming in when my seller thinks that the showing is over and they're in the shower. So yeah, it gives you that 15-minute window. But when you miss that, if you've missed your time altogether, yes, then you're not getting in, which my seller would be very happy about.
Are there any fees associated with this besides the purchase of the lockbox or connection to ShowingTime service?
Nope. That fee is a one-time fee that you're going to pay. And again, we'll set it up. We'll provision it on the MiRealSource side, but it is a one-time fee, just like any other lockbox that if you walked into Home Depot and you bought a lockbox, you pay one time. Same concept, except that this one obviously is going to give you that additional feature of having the convenience of working with the ShowingTime app.
Yes. Okay. And then another question was, is this box small enough to fit between the storm door and the main door?
Great question. Great question. I'm going to kind of show you, it's kind of the size of my hand. I have not had a problem getting this to work easily between the storm door and, or a screen door. Sometimes they're very tight, you're right, but it's not that thick. There's many other ones that are much, much thicker, as you can kind of see the size here. And I do love, as Brian mentioned, that it's got that backing on it that does not mar the door. A lot of those metal ones that I've used before, if you've got a white metal door and you've got that heavy metal lockbox with no coating on the back, it tends to scratch the door. It tends to be very difficult to navigate in between the storm door. Because of it being so thin, it really does fit nicely. There are some that I have had a terrible time because there's a very narrow door frame between the door frame and the handle. This seems, I've not had a problem with this. The size is smaller than a lot of them out there, and so therefore it fits a little bit nicer and more secure.
So we were kind of talking about in past Mixin It Ups with everything regarding COVID and the responsibilities of the seller. Between Colleen and Brian, since you guys are the ones using this a lot, what is that value, if you want to talk about that with ShowingTime and that confirmation and kind of applying it to the responsibilities of the seller now with everything regarding COVID?
Brian, do you want to take that, or you want me to take that from my personal experience?
I can give my thoughts. And so we're actually, we're seeing a pretty decent uptick in short-term rentals, the real estate itself, and then commercial real estate and property management in lockboxes, because it allows for contactless showing, contactless interaction with a property. In the case of real estate and ShowingTime, you still have the protection of the security of it has to be a valid appointment. You know who's gone in. But again, I mean, even before COVID, the point of this was to let the listing agent be productive and allow a showing agent in, but still retain that audit trail and that security of knowing that they're only going in during the window. So as it relates to COVID, it's you're able to reduce necessary contact as much as you're willing to willing to stomach. Theoretically, if your seller's not in the home, the listing agent's not there, you could really there's no contact at all other than the showing agent and their client, which is much easier to maintain social distancing than if the seller was there and the listing agent was there and everyone was there. So I do think that the electronic lockbox, especially with the added security of ShowingTime, does facilitate some of the contactlessness and social distancing required by COVID-19.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I love that the seller can confirm right through the app, so the seller does not have to be present. I love that that the seller can also confirm the appointments through ShowingTime and leave time to clean the property in between. Because if you've actually read the NAR toolkit that came out for agents and what is expected, it is expected that the seller clean, things like light switches, and they're asking buyers not even to touch those, but it is expected that the seller is to go in and clean in between showings. And so the nice thing about having the Masterlock lockbox versus having other different lockboxes where, again, I can go in, early, I can go in late because it doesn't work strictly on a confirmed appointment. This is ensuring that my seller, in fact, does get an opportunity to go in after the property has been shown, clean the property before the next showing. So that way they're able to, keep what is mandated in the NAR toolkit. So the thing is, again, just be aware there are many lockboxes in our area that you do not have to have that confirmed appointment. I can walk up, I can open it right from the app. Yes, they know I opened it, but again, if you have a seller in the shower that was just surprised, that's not so helpful. So this allows, again, through the ShowingTime app, the seller to not even be there, but be able to confirm the appointment, to control the flow of appointments so that they can go in and disinfect between one showing and another. And that way you have it all recorded as the agent too. And one of the things that I liked about it, and I wanted to mention, is I can also see how long people are in the property. I had an agent who was actually in the property for a very, very long time. And remember, you've got that log of being able to see, you know, who's coming, how long they've been in the property. In this case, this particular agent was doing a second showing, and they had actually started taking the fireplace apart. It was kind of an odd story, but they were there 4 hours, and I could actually see that they hadn't. I was kind of panicking because I'm like, and I actually called the agent and said, so why are you still in the property? And they were explaining, they were looking at, you know, some detail, but it allows you to see things like that. It allows you to see how long, you know, that agent is in the property. And so I love that as well.
So everything is controlled from the ShowingTime app, from the unlocking to the locking to the actual, the people who were in the house, so that you have that record regarding, you know, the current times with COVID or not. And you can block off those windows of time to give your seller the time that they are agreeing to when it comes to showings to actually clean the properties like they have agreed to in between showings, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
And I, you know, so many people struggle with, you know, having multiple apps. There's, you know, lockboxes out there. You have to have 3 different apps, and it's just becomes just a nightmare. And I just want to be able to go into ShowingTime and click the lock button and get in. We want to make it easy. We've got buyers behind us. They're asking us questions. I don't want to fumble like, okay, which app do I need? And, you know, where was that code? I want to be able to open ShowingTime where my appointment is, where I'm used to going for my combination or going for, you know, the lockbox code. I want to be able to just open up that app, click the button, and have this pop open, because I don't want any embarrassing moments when I have a seller or a buyer right behind me. All right, do we have any more questions?
Not that I'm seeing coming through.
And I know that we clarified, but I just want to clarify again. When you purchase a Masterlock, or if you win one in today's show, we will set those up for you at MiRealSource. So our techs will actually provision it right to your name. If you have a team, we will assign it to your team. And so when you pick this up, it is live and ready to go. There's really nothing you have to do. We will show you, we'll give you a quick crash course on opening it up and removing the handle, but it's really, really simple, but it will be all set up for you, so there's really nothing you have to worry about. The only thing you'll need to know is the device ID, and I don't know if you can actually see that at the bottom. It gives you a device ID, and we will give you that sharing code, and other than that, that's all you're going to put into ShowingTime one time, and you're good to go.
So we'll wait. There'll probably be some more questions that come in, but so far, the first person that I got a notification from on our YouTube channel was Roger Smith. First subscriber notification I got. So he will be winning one of the Masterlock.
What was Roger's last name?
Smith.
Is it Smith? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So Roger Smith. And before you talk about showing carts and all of that, should we do another giveaway?
Let's do it. I love when we give away stuff.
All right, so I'm going to take over the screen. Now, this one isn't really trivia. It is more of a challenge for you guys. So, as many of you have seen this week, we launched our first podcast. MiRealSource has started a podcast just talking about technology in the industry, data sharing, data trends, bringing on guest speakers. And so episode 1 actually launched this Tuesday, and there will be one every Tuesday. So The first 2 people that I get a share notification from on our Facebook page of the podcast will win a Masterlock. So if you go to MiRealSource Facebook page, right up at the top of our posts, you'll see the graphic that says Your Real Source. So this is our newest podcast. Episode 1 is all about data sharing, what MiRealSource has done regarding data sharing over the last 10 years, the different methods of data sharing, as well as who we data share with and what that means to you guys as our members, as well as our most recent really exciting data share is talked about, and that is with Mishrick on the west side of the state. So we are, as officially June 1st, we are data sharing with Mishrick in Paragon. So all that is discussed in this podcast with guest presenter Brian Alford. He's actually been really instrumental in setting all this up, thinking it all out, the wizard behind the curtain, as we call him. So to win a lockbox, you visit our Facebook page and share it on your page, personal, business page, doesn't matter. I will get a notification that you share. So the first share that we get, or first 2 shares that we get, write down your name and you will be getting a lockbox. And in this share, it actually has a link to our podcast website where all of them will be posted. So details about the podcast, visuals that are discussed, the trends that Dave discusses in the podcast, and they'll all be here for you, as well as a place where you can submit questions regarding the industry. Doesn't always have to be very specific to that topic that you listen to. If there's something that you're curious about that you would like Dave to address, we will be filtering through these questions as well and bringing them as part of the next week's podcast. So go ahead and check this out. And if you want to give these master locks a try, then if you haven't been using them, then you can get one for free by just simply sharing our podcast.
Hey, Taylor, will you go back and open up that podcast just like you did for 1 second? And since you were so nice to talk about Mishrick data, can we show on that little graph where we had Mishrick? Can you, so if you're looking right there, Taylor just mentioned that on Monday, Mishrick is now live in your MLS database. So this is our first mixing it up since all that data went live. What that means is all of those pink dots that you see right there, those are all listings, Mishrick listings. And remember, all that data is now available right in Paragon. And a lot of people still say, well, what does that mean to me? Well, remember that now in this low inventory market, and when we looked at Mishrick, when we took all those other dots away, you'll find Mishrick agents have listed properties even in Macomb County. And what that means to you is that in this low inventory market where we don't have enough listings, that you're seeing way more inventory now thanks to having these additional Mishrick dots, Mishrick homes. So that means that you're getting more inventory to view. And what we did recently is we actually went in and what we want to see is data sharing really working? Is it really bringing you more money in your pocket? And I was amazed when we ran the number. I think it was something like 40, and I'd have to pull up the slide, but it was amazing to me to see how many transactions were closing that were listed on with one MLS and closed with another. I mean, the numbers were out, they were staggering. And you'll also find things like what Taylor just had up, that pandemic graph. That's actually going to show, oh, here it is right here. We were talking about transactions. Will you go back to that one? I'm sorry to make you jump all over, but you had it open.
I knew it was somewhere in here. There we go.
Yeah, this is transactions. So what we did, what you're seeing right here, and Dave talks about this in his podcast, what you're seeing is how many, so 40,058 transactions in 2019 were actually closed during because they were listed at one MLS, but another MLS could see them. So over 40,000 transaction sites got closed due to data sharing. That is a lot of transactions. If you go down to what does it mean in your pocket, over $7 billion of agent production, $7 billion of commission dollars were generated by actual data sharing. So when people ask me, well, what does it mean to me? It means more money in your pocket because you have more houses to sell that you can see that before you wouldn't even be able to see. 22 years ago, when I started in real estate, I had to belong to 3 MLSs. I paid 3 different MLS fees and nothing talked to each other. So I went into MiRealSource, I put in 300 fields of information. I went in over here, I put in 300 fields, the same information, as well as I went in and even had to pay to be a guest lister in a local MLS. So what this means is now you pay 1 fee to your home MLS. You can access listings 92% of the state you now have in your database, and you can see how much money it's actually bringing in. So it does work, and there's true value. And then you'll see great things, as Taylor was mentioning in Dave's podcast. We also show you what's going on. What did the pandemic actually do? What do those numbers mean? So there's a great pandemic graph that actually shows you, okay, we see the fall off. We see when we didn't show properties. You'll see listings closed and pending. So definitely check out that podcast. I learned a ton.
As well as he explains it, you know, you can see it and watch it, or, you know, look at the graph while he's explaining it. Because, I mean, it's pretty, you know, the line graphs are pretty easy to follow, but Dave's brain explaining it's always a nice perspective.
It really is. He seems to always find what's trending way before it becomes trending. And so he's the perfect person to have this podcast. He's always kind of ahead of the curve. And so it's always interesting. And he always comes up with different ways to explain it that make sense to me. And I'm like, oh, I never thought of that.
Yes, he does. So I will be monitoring our Facebook page, and the first 2 that I get of those shares will win a lockbox. And then you can listen to the podcast here, but it's also on all the platforms: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. Super easy to listen to and get to subscribe to, so that you can get alerted when a new one is posted. So right here, that little share arrow right here, you can go in and you can actually listen on Google, Spotify, and more. That's where Apple Podcasts would be. And it'll open it up on your phone or your computer, and you can listen at your leisure. So we're really excited about this, if you guys can't tell.
Yeah. It is. It is really good. I learned a lot just from listening. So I hope you'll check it out. They're not long. But they will tell you what's going on right here in your real estate market and across the state. So I think it's cool.
Yep. And any tech trends or anything like that you're curious about, you can always submit those questions to us, and Dave will bring them up right on the next week's podcast. So I'm going to be monitoring that. And then, Colleen, do you want to can I hand it off to you so that you can talk about the
Absolutely.
feature?
I would love that. Yep. If you hand it off to me, I will. I'll show you just a couple quick tips. I'm going to show my screen.
There was one question that I noticed popped up before you get started, is something about that. I believe it's regarding like ShowingTime and internet connection. So they don't have to have Wi-Fi connection, right, to use ShowingTime and manage all this.
Well, so there are notification pushes that can go to your phone, which I love, and those are very helpful, but it also will send you, let's say you are worried, sometimes up in Port Huron, close to the water, I tend to lose my, my cellular connection, so I may not get that push. But what I do is I also have it sent via email. So if you're showing in an area where that's your concern, where maybe the concern is, well, I could lose my cellular connection, or, what if I can't access the internet from where I am? Don't worry. You can go in, you'll have that email. And because there's a couple different things that you can do as well. If the concern is using ShowingTime and I'm not going to have a code, or I'm not going to have what I need to get in, you'll still get that email confirmation. You just have to configure your settings to do the push notifications and emails. You can get it that way as well. Okay.
You do not need a connection at the listing to open the lockbox.
Oh, I'm sorry, Brian, can you say that again? It broke up a little bit.
You don't need a cellular connection at the listing to open the lockbox, as long as everything was pre-approved beforehand.
Because remember, they're Bluetooth. I think that's what you're saying, right, Brian? Yep, that they won't need a cellular connection because they're actually open by Bluetooth. I'm sorry if I misunderstood the question. All right, so I just want to show you a real quick tip that some of you may be using already, but I get a lot of questions about it every week. So I thought, what the heck? We got 5 extra minutes. We'll actually go through here. What I wanted to show you is the ShowingTime carts. A lot of times when I'm talking to agents, I find that they are going in and individually requesting, each property showing, and that can be very labor intensive and can take a lot longer. So I wanted to show you a quick tip, and I want to show you a couple cool things that have recently been added with the ShowingTime carts, so that you can actually schedule appointments a lot quicker and more conveniently. And so, Taylor, are you able to see my screen at this point?
Hey, real quick. Yep, I can.
Okay, perfect. So what I did is I just went in and I quickly went to our market monitor. I just grabbed a couple new listings. And so I'm just going to pretend, just for the sake of time today, that I wanted to show these particular properties I'm actually going to remove that one. I want to show these to my buyer, but I don't want to go in each one and individually request an appointment. So a lot of people are not aware that there are these great ShowingTime carts. If you just select the properties that you wanted to show to your buyer, and let's say that your buyer maybe even sent them all in an email, sent you a bunch of houses maybe he found on Zillow. Remember, you can copy and paste those addresses right into the full addresses field. It's going to bring up all of those properties. And now what I want to do is I want to basically go to ShowingTime right through the actions menu. So I'm going to pick those properties. I'm going to go through actions. And this time, instead of scheduling them individually, I want to go ahead and click add to the showing cart. Now, the reason I want to do that is because it's actually going to help me out with a few things here. I'm going to say I want to show all of these tomorrow. And then right here it says add new for if I have a new buyer, or maybe I'm showing it to someone I've showed houses to before. Now, I'm going to be honest, when ShowingTime first asked for my buyer as an agent, I was like, I'm never ever putting my buyer's name in here. What if the listing agent saw it? Well, keep in mind, you are the only one to see that, you or your broker. It does not show anyone else. You don't have to worry that the listing agent's going to see it or anything like that. What it's really doing is it's keeping track of how many properties that you've showed to that buyer. Now, why it does that is my good friend Lisa Harris, she's also a trainer. She actually showed a buyer, I kid you not, I made her show me, she showed them 96 homes. Now, at that point, I was like, I thought she was crazy. They did buy a $700,000 new construction home, so that was good. But she showed them 96 homes. And so at some point when they were getting into the 70s, she sat them down and said, hey, we're probably going to have to remove some of our haves and wants here. We're going to have to be more realistic with this price range. So
to the 70s before she said.
I know she's very patient. She is so patient. She really is. So it allows you to track how many. So if you need to kind of have that realistic talk, you can actually go into ShowingTime and it will show you every property you showed them. And so you can actually say to them, hey, look, we've looked at 79 properties now. We're probably going to have to increase our price or decrease our wants. And that's exactly what she did, but they did close, so that was good. So keep in mind, you're the only person that's actually seeing that buyer information. Now, what I like about this is when you're showing a lot of properties. As you can see, it's kind of got me driving all over the place here. I might want to put those in a smart route. I don't want to be driving from point A all the way up here to point B and then over here to point C. I don't want to be driving all over the city, right? I want it to put them in an organized route for me. So I'm going to go and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to click that smart route button. That's now going to rearrange them. As you can see, it just put them in a much more logical order for me. Now, if I'm coming from a different location, maybe I want to start with number 7, and I want that to be number 1, I could rearrange them in a particular order, or I could just click on this little address and rearrange them the other way. So there's some really great ways to put them in the right orders now. I don't have to grab a map and try to figure out where to start and where to stop. The other thing is, it's also going to show me when I'm trying to schedule my appointments. It's going to show me how long it takes to drive from appointment A to appointment B. So I can see appointment A is 4.6 miles, or about approximately a 10-minute drive time from appointment B. So when I'm scheduling my time frames, I want to schedule them that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I want appointment A to be from maybe 10 in the morning, we'll say 9:30 to 10:30. Now I know it's going to take me to, let me put that I am the buyer's agent here. Now I know it's going to take me about 10 minutes, so I can adjust my appointments accordingly. I also love that doing them from here, I can see what is a go and show and what requires an appointment. So if I'm worried I might run out of time, maybe I want to move my go and shows to the later portion of the day. I can actually put those in that order because I can see, do we have to actually confirm with someone? Is an appointment required, meaning the seller has to confirm? Or is it just a go and show, which is going to give me an immediate combination or an immediate, in this case, it's going to confirm it, and then I'll be able to open that Masterlock with my ShowingTime app. So I can actually see that. I can create turn-by-turn directions, which I can send over to my buyer, but I can do this all in one convenient swoop. I don't have to do it individually. Another cool thing is, unfortunately, I always seem to get that buyer who I get the whole tour all set up. And I'm walking out the door and I get that call from that buyer and he says, guess what, Colleen? We found one more home on Zillow we want to see. So now I can go in, I can come right back to the ShowingTime cart and I can simply add that listing in. So I can go right up to the top and add that listing address in and now figure it right into my showing cart. Or maybe it's a relocation person that you're taking out and I want to add a local restaurant. Well, not until Monday because the restaurants, as you know, don't open back up till Monday. But if I wanted to go in and I wanted to add a restaurant address in here, so when I'm sending them turn-by-turn directions, they know exactly where we're stopping to eat, I can go ahead and do that right from here. So the good news is by doing a ShowingTime cart, I can request all of these times at once and then just send my request. You can also create you can send this over to your buyer, and you can even create a nice little buyer tour in combination in the CMA program, Cloud CMA. So sending both of these right over to a buyer makes it easier for them to see what you're going to show. It's going to show you the order you're going to show it in, and it's going to allow you to see exactly how much time you need to configure for your ShowingTime appointments and figure in your drive time. So that was your kind of quick tip of the day. We do have classes on this. We actually show you this in our mobile agent class. Remember that we've got a couple instructors who teach that class. We'll show you step by step how to include this. We'll show you a little bit of the Masterlock information that you'll need to know, and we'll even show you some home snap quick tips too. All right, so I think that's all I had, Taylor. Do you have anything or any additional questions we can cover?
There's one more giveaway. So first of all, I just want to recap who our winners are for so far. Roger Smith on YouTube. So I'll be reaching out to you. You are our first YouTube subscriber notification, and I'll be reaching out to you to get that lockbox appointment set up. Holly Miller was our first share on Facebook for the podcast, and Maury Lane was the second share. So all three of you guys win a lockbox. We'll be reaching out to you to get that set up. and give those away. Each lockbox is worth $139 plus tax. And then the last question that I have for you guys is actually a question. It's not really a task. The other day, was it yesterday? My days are running together a little. Yeah, yesterday, we put out a formal notice about the data share between MiRealSource and MiRealSource. So I'm going to pull up that map real quick for you guys. The information is also on our website, so if you have any questions about that. Let me take over.
While you're pulling that up, I just want to remind everybody that Brian, and I want to thank you, Brian, so much for giving the 2 Masterlocks away and the great promotion that you mentioned, where if they buy 3, they get 1 free. We're going to record this, so I just want to let everybody know that promotion is good from now until June 25th. All you have to do is call MiRealSource, give them that promotion. We'll get you all set up, as I mentioned, and then we'll give you that real quick tutorial on exactly how they work. So just keep in mind that you can use that promotion code. Brian, did we put that promotion code? Did we give that out somewhere? Was that in the handout that you supplied us?
It's in the handout. There's really not a code. Basically, just call MiRealSource and let them know you're interested, and we'll handle it.
Okay.
You watched the webinar for the Masterlock promo.
Yep.
Perfect. And then keep in mind, in your GoToWebinar panel, there is a great lockbox flyer that highlights some information. So if you open up your panel, if you go down to handouts, you'll see the Bluetooth lockbox flyer. But as Brian, thank you so much again. I know you, Brian actually joined us. This was supposed to be his day off. He was on vacation. He was originally going to be in the Bahamas. And then obviously with the shelter in place and the no travel, it's been really rough. So thank you again for not only giving up your vacation day, but we are sorry you couldn't go and be in the Bahamas.
My pleasure. If you can't be in the Bahamas, virtually in Michigan is a good second choice.
I love that. I love that.
Especially in the summer, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. All right, awesome. So the last giveaway will be, if you saw the announcement about MiRealSource, formal announcement, talked about the data share, what that means to you, but also the integration of the data. So the first person to name the products that are integrated with the MiRealSource data of MiRealSource products, or at least one of the products, third-party products that MiRealSource is integrated with, will win the last lockbox. So the products that MiRealSource offers, third-party program tools that you guys use, have integration with MiRealSource. So if you can name all of them that have it, or one of them that has that deep integration of the data, you will win the 4th lockbox. All right. Looks like Holly won a second one. Or no,
Wow.
Ed. Oh, nope, it was Ed. Ed got it actually right. Cloud CMA.
Hey, that's so good.
He made sure to put Cloud CMA. So Cloud CMA is actually one of the products that the data is integrated with. So you can pull that listing information right into your CMAs. It's not anything extra clunky that you have to do. It fully pulls right into your CMAs, right into Cloud. It also pulls into ShowingTime. And that's all mentioned right here. Cloud CMA, ShowingTime, Instant, and Authentisign all work seamlessly with the MiRealSource data. So congratulations, Ed, Holly, Roger, and Maury. You guys all won lockboxes. So I'll be reaching out to you guys to get that set up, an appointment set up so you can pick them up, answer any questions that you'll have when you come pick them up, and hopefully you love them. It sounds like it's a really good tool. We've been hearing positive feedback from those that have adopted it, but I mean, just all of the integration with ShowingTime, it just seems really, really seamless, and your workflow, no extra, really no extra steps for you there.
I can tell you, I have 3 of them right now, and I think it has been, I think the biggest hesitation is people just get nervous in their head, but when they walk up and they see how easy it is, I've gotten numerous calls saying, oh my gosh, that was so easy. That was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. So I think once you try them, you will fall in love.
And then if there's, we're going to send out that video that unfortunately did not play. Read over the handout that Colleen mentioned is attached. And this webinar was also being recorded and will be up on our YouTube channel as well as all of our other ones. So any feedback, questions that you have, anything that you would like us to discuss on these Mixing It Ups, go ahead and send us an email and let us know. Or somebody that you think would be a good testimonial presenter or a good speaker of a topic that would be covered. We appreciate all the feedback from you guys. And then if there's anything else that you want to add, Brian or Colleen?
Oh, we should have to give one more shout out. Brian Alford, since he's on the call. Happy 50th birthday, Brian. Yes, I wasn't going to say 50, but I decided to anyway. So happy birthday, Brian. Brian, if you don't know, is our Chief Technical Officer. He is the wizard behind all the magic and integration that we have. And I have to tell you, as we got to go to CTC last year and I got to see so many other MLSs, it's amazing across the state how far ahead we really are, and it's been a lot of that's been due to Brian and the amazing integration and stuff that he's built. So thank you, Brian, and happy birthday.
Happy 50th birthday.
He's going to be mad at me for that. Yeah. But thank you again, Brian. We really appreciate you being with us, especially from your vacation. So go enjoy your vacation day now.
My pleasure. I will. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Brian, and everybody stay safe and healthy and enjoy the nice weather today.
Take care.
Great day, everybody.
Bye.
Sell.